So, you're Jewish, right?
Yes.
What is it like being Jewish?
What is it like?
Yeah.
Well, I think you're aware of it. It's in the back of your head oftentimes when you encounter people. The entertainment business is fortunately welcoming to Jewish people to some extent. Not that it helped me one way or the other. I don't think I had one Jewish boss. My first, the guy who really took an interest in me was an Irishman from New York.
Really?
Another guy that I studied with was an Italian from New York. And along the way, I haven't really had Jewish mentors, but it's something I think you're aware of. It's something that you sometimes encounter hostility toward, but it's nothing that I've allowed to stop me or affect me.
So you walk around thinking, I'm Jewish?
No.
But what do you mean by it's in the back of your mind?
Well, I think that, it's certainly something that can pop up when you see a situation or when you're in a situation. I mean, I have had people say derogatory things about me because of my religion.
They said it to you?
Oh, yeah. I've
really?
had that, sure. I've had people call me a Jew or, other things like that. And it's just, it's hurtful. You don't know, you wonder how to react. And sometimes, in my case, you react with anger because the anger comes from the hurt. I recognize that. I'm really grappling with the idea of the existence of a deity and what that means.
And when you say you're grappling with it, what does that mean?
I'm so fascinated, Jesse, that we as organisms, we as animals, we as human beings, we as men, are the only entities on this planet. With the billions of organisms out there, we're the only ones who can think, have consciousness, self-awareness, can build things, can create everything around us. And I just wonder, where does that come from? I suppose it's easy to say that comes from God. I don't know where that level of intelligence, that level of awareness, the fact that we can even conceptualize the notion of God, it's astonishing to me. It doesn't necessarily prove that deity exists.
Oh, I see. Are you like a religious Jew person?
Occasionally I'll go to temple, and I go to it for a meditative reason.
Oh.
Because if I'm there, I can get into a different headspace. I can listen to the prayers, even if I don't understand everything.
Right.
It takes me to another place.
And so, do you believe there is a God?
I think there is a God. I don't know what the definition is.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think he's a guy up there with a beard and looks down kindly upon us.
Oh, you don't?
Well,
you don't think he looked down kindly upon us?
No, I think he does. I don't think he's a guy with a beard. I mean, the manifestation of God, is it an image of us? We were created in God's image.
We were created in his image.
Right.
Right. And so you don't believe he has a beard because you think he's shaved? Or he's...
I don't know where we're going with this.
That's interesting, though. You believe there is a God, right?
I believe there's an intelligence, there's an entity, there's something out there that has imbued us with our extraordinary ability to be humans. We're not the fastest, we're not the strongest, we're not the tallest, and somehow we dominate this planet.
Yeah.
And I think in a positive way. People like to say, oh, look how we've despoiled the planet. I think you look around you and everything we see, Jesse, we've created out of nothing.
Yeah.
Because of our brains, our consciousness, our awareness.
That came from God, right?
I guess
Somewhere,
so.
Huh?
I guess so. I guess so.
So were you raised to be religious or whatever, or no?
No, but I'll tell you something interesting about that. When I was quite young, my mother picked us up and we moved to Israel. And we lived on a kibbutz. You know what kibbutz is? It's an organized communal farm.
Oh, okay.
And basically, you live there, you work there, and we were young children. And so she exposed us. But in Israel, it's actually a pretty secular state. It's not wholly religious. People aren't walking around in religious garb. Those are the Orthodox. But it was more just sort of the social cultural inculcation, and the religion was sort of built into the social fabric of the life we had around us.
Right.
So it wasn't a deeply religious experience, but it was a deeply cultural one.
I got you. I love Israel. I've gone to Israel before. We sent a second load of people over there, and it was like amazing for me to go to Israel. You know, I heard a lot about it growing up, and I knew that, or been taught that if it wasn't for Judaism, there would be no Christianity. So I've always seen Judaism and Christianity as one, you know. And so when I got a chance to go over there, we walked through the Bible. Everything I had been reading about Israel in the Bible, I got a chance to experience that, and it was amazing to me.
Yeah.
It was really amazing. It was like mind-blowing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you realize the history, the everything that's there, you know, from the Roman times, before, after. I remember we were in an area called Caesarea, and there was a hillside, and my brother and I were chipping away at the rocks, and we literally unearthed some Roman pottery. Like they're just sitting there, you know, that had been, the sea had sort of washed the hillside away.
Amazing.
And you're living in, you're just astonished by the amount of history, the depth, and of course the spirituality of the place.
Yeah, absolutely. How long did you live? Because you were born here in this country, right?
Born here.
So how long did you live over there, and did you feel comfortable, and did you feel at home over there?
It was a challenge. We were there for a year and a half. And I was put right in a school with other kids. I did not speak a word of Hebrew. I learned Hebrew, learned to speak it, never learned really well to write or read it. And you know, the lettering is written completely different from our alphabet.
Right.
And they write from the right side to the left. Now, I'm an 8-year-old kid. My brain is already all turned upside down. And now I'm in a culture where I have to learn to write the opposite way with letters that I don't even know. So amazing. I'm sure it had some kind of crazy thing happening in my head.
That's amazing. But you did feel comfortable living there, or you felt like an American?
I felt not like an American, just an outsider.
You felt like an outsider?
Yeah. Because I was thrust into a dormitory with kids my own age.
Right.
When you live on a kibbutz, back then, you didn't live with your parents. My brother lived in one house, my sister in another, and I in a third. Really? Yeah. So I was in a room with 3 other kids, and none of them spoke English, and I had to learn to speak the language and communicate with them. And they had never seen an American before.
Right.
And certainly someone who was dropped in their midst. So once again, I'm battling my way through.
You're like, what the?
Exactly.
How long did you live there?
A year and a half.
Oh, not real long.
No.
Not very long. Were you happy to leave when you left?
Yeah, it's a kid, you do what you're supposed to do. You know, it's time to leave. Okay, we're going back. And then I came here and I was back in school and kind of behind because I'd missed that time and had to catch up. And that was another thing I had to sort of work at, develop my skills that I had missed a year and a half out on.
Oh, yeah. Do you believe in dual citizenship?
I think so, yeah. Why not?
For some reason, some people are against that.
Yeah, I think maybe they're concerned about the loyalty that it shows, that you have a mixed loyalty, and then maybe they're questioned, what would you do if you had a war with Israel and you were a dual citizen? I mean, that maybe comes up in people's minds, but I don't feel the need to I don't have a dual citizenship, but I wouldn't be against it.
Yeah. Right on, man. What the?
What the hell's going on here, Jesse?
So, I wanted to ask, I noticed in my country, America, by the way, I grew up in Alabama.
Your country, my country too.
Right.
America.
That's right. So you put America first, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I know this is a hot political issue right now, but why shouldn't we think in terms of us being first?
Right.
I don't think we have to apologize for that.
That's right,
We're
man.
the greatest nation in the world. You know, what we have to share with the world is great. And you look around you and you see China being this imperialist power now, insinuating itself all over the world, and nobody seems to say anything about that.
I know, what a mess.
And yet if we ever say we want to go someplace, everybody says, oh, you're this imperialist nation.
What a mess.